So you've won the lottery and want to get away from it all. You want privacy, sunshine, private beaches, and blue sea? Why not just buy a private island? It seems like the first thing the super rich do, but believe it or not, you don't have to be ultra wealthy to afford one. Here are some beautiful private islands almost anyone can afford, but strangely enough, nobody has snapped them up.
Amazing!
Number 10. Poveglia. There's a very attractive island for sale in the Mediterranean, just off the coast of Italy, and only a gondola's ride from the heart of the picturesque city of Venice. Split into 3 parts, its 72,000 square meters contains the ruins of a church, a hospital, an asylum, and a 12th century bell tower that once belonged to the Church of San Vitale, demolished in 1806. It surely seems like a picturesque, albeit run-down, paradise. But there's a downside. It's also known as one of the most haunted places on Earth. Its history tells a grim tale. In the Middle Ages, it was used to house victims of the plague that swept through Europe. Thousands of infected people were taken there to die, their bodies dumped into mass graves. During the 1920s, it housed a mental institution where, due to its isolation, abusive and inhumane medical procedures were undertaken. The doctor responsible took his own life by throwing himself off the bell tower. The hospital closed in 1968 where the island was abandoned. Since then, it's been bought and sold 3 times. The first 2 owners soon gave up on the place due to the many mysterious and frightening occurrences they witnessed. In 2014, it was bought by a businessman for around $500,000, who hoped to develop the islands as a holiday destination. However, due to local pressure, the sale was deemed non-congruous and was rejected by Italian authorities due to stringent development rules imposed by the authorities. Now, do you still fancy making an offer? Number 9. Getter's Island. If you don't want to get away from it all and fancy an island nearer to civilization, how about Getter's Island, a pleasant wooded island situated in the Delaware River just 100 yards from the town of Eston? It seems to be a bargain for only $150,000, but there's a catch. The island is meant to be haunted by the ghost of one Charles Getter, who in 1833 brutally murdered Margaret Lowell, his pregnant lover, just outside Eston. After a quick trial where the jury took a whole 10 minutes to find him guilty, he was sentenced to death by hanging. Such was the publicity surrounding his crime that this island was chosen to stage his execution, so the crowd of 20,000 could witness the hanging from the riverbank at Eston. Unfortunately, it didn't go to plan. During the first attempt, the rope snapped, and Getter fell to the floor and had to wait 20 minutes before the scaffold was made ready. He expired at the second attempt. A bit of an extreme way to get an island named after you. Fancy buying it now? Number 8. Little Rocky Island. How about a Canadian island residence just off the coast of Nova Scotia for only 98,000 Canadian dollars? It's 8 acres of beautiful mature pine forest, has a white sandy beach that runs right around it, and it's in a sheltered location. Protected from inclement weather, its warmest month is August, with an average temperature of 16 degrees centigrade, and its coldest February, where it drops to -8 degrees Celsius. Although there's no existing property on the island, it is ready for development. However, if you're wanting to buy yourself an island, there's just one slight problem. Despite its name, Little Rock Island is only an island at high tide. When the tide goes out, a strip of land connects it to the mainland. Perhaps the reasonable price tag reflects that Little Rock is only a part-time island. Still, if you think about it, it could be a selling point, as you could get to land easily, which would come in useful if your boat gets a hole in it. Number 7. Fort Carroll. Fort Carroll is an abandoned fort built in the middle of the Patapsco River during the American Civil War to protect the approach to Baltimore. By 1921, it was abandoned and stayed that way until 1958, when it was sold to a private developer who saw a business opportunity by turning it into a tourist attraction, complete with a casino, hotel, and restaurants. Unfortunately for the developer, a judge ruled that the island was in Baltimore County, where gambling wasn't legal. Since then, many developers have considered the site, but as a casino owner said when he recently rejected the property, "It's a unique and fairly historic piece of property, but I saw a lot of problems. Access problems, utility problems, construction problems, not to mention that Maryland law at the present time does not allow slots or casino gambling." Number 6. Half Island. Half Island is in Canada. Its stunning natural beauty is less than a mile from the mainland and located close to Walkerville, a small community in Cape Breton. It is 16 kilometers from Port Hawkesbury, where you'll find all the requirements that today's civilization offers. Restaurants, hotels, a Walmart, car dealerships, schools, a public pool, hockey arena, fitness centers and the Nova Scotia Community College. If you're into fishing, watching wildlife, and great outdoors in general, this place is for you. The area is famous for all manners of sailing activities, from yachting to paddling your own canoe. The fishing is good, with plenty of cod, sea trout, silver perch, Atlantic salmon, and shellfish just waiting to jump on your line. The woods are alive with deer and bald eagles soaring overhead. You might even get to see a passing whale or two. However, if you're looking for luxury, forget it. Its $59,000 sale price includes the island's only habitation, an Airstream camper shell left by a previous owner. I suppose its isolation in a cold climate is what's putting buyers off this one. Number 5. Motumatsutake. French Polynesia is one of the most spectacular and beautiful parts of the world. It's often called a paradise, comprising over 100 islands scattered over 2,000 kilometers of the Pacific Ocean that range from high, lushly vegetated, tree-filled islands to white sand-surrounded atolls and blue lagoons. Like many other islands in French Polynesia, Motumatsutake is up for sale for just over $260,000. It's surrounded by its own white beaches and blue lagoon and is everyone's dream island. Just a couple of slight problems. Like most of the islands in this part of the world, it suffers from major environmental issues. There's pollution, specifically the danger of radiation. So as long as you're okay with growing a third ear and turning green, it's all cool. From 1960 to 1996, France carried out 193 nuclear tests in French Polynesia and the South Pacific. Despite them claiming that the controlled explosions were clean, scientists have discovered high levels of thyroid cancers and leukemia throughout Polynesia. Then there's the ever-present danger of rising sea levels and extreme weather events, including cyclones, storms, and tsunamis that create floods, landslides, erosion, and reef damage. The islands also suffer from droughts, and many are totally dependent on rainfall as a source of fresh water. Hey-ho, perhaps it's not the bargain it first seems. Number 4. Doxa Island. How about a stunning Adriatic location? Doxa Island is on the market for just 2 million euros. Close to Dubrovnik, it comes complete with woodland, private beaches, and its very own Franciscan monastery. Unfortunately, its grizzled past may explain why the island has been on sale for over 3 years. At the end of World War II, Yugoslav partisans entered Dubrovnik and rounded up over 300 people they accused of being German collaborators. Some were brought to Doxa Island where they were executed without trial. Their bodies were left where they were dropped and remained unburied for decades. In 2010, they were exhumed and given a respectful burial. Out of all the bodies, only 18 were identified, leaving the identity of the others a mystery. Today, the locals claim that the ghosts of the dead haunt the island, demanding justice, which is probably why there are no buyers or tourists lurking around the place. Before I reveal the next one, you should subscribe if you enjoyed this video. We upload amazing, fact-filled list videos daily. Also, make sure to click that bell icon to stay updated, or you'll regret missing out on some amazing knowledge that could have filled your brain. Now, let's get back to it. Number 3. Snake Island. Even if you had the cash, you couldn't buy this picturesque island just off the Brazilian coast. Also known as the Hadakimata Grande, Snake Island is so dangerous that the Brazilian government has banned all human visitors. Why? Well, it's home to one of the most venomous snakes in the world. The golden lancehead is a type of pit viper that can grow up to 18 inches long and is so poisonous that one bite will kill a person within an hour. Sounds horrific. You'd be seriously unlucky to stumble across this snake, but not on Snake Island. It's estimated that the island is home to around 4,000 of them. That's equivalent to one snake every square foot. I wonder who got the job of counting them. I'll leave that one for my upcoming video on jobs that don't pay because you won't survive. Number 2. Isola La Gaiola. Would you like to own a Mediterranean island in the stunning Bay of Naples? Isola La Gaiola is a beautiful, picturesque postcard island, with ruins dating back to ancient Rome, a rustic villa, clear seas, and so close to shore that you could swim there. So how come today it's a deserted Romanesque ruin that no one wants to buy? Could it be something to do with the rumors that the island is cursed? Whether you're superstitious or not, the facts around the unfortunate fate of its past owners are there to be seen. In the 1920s, its owner was found murdered, his corpse hidden in a rolled-up carpet. Soon afterward, his wife drowned in an accident. The next owner died of a heart attack. The one after went insane and committed suicide, as did the next owner, an heir to the Fiat company. The island then passed to his nephew, who died of an extremely rare type of cancer. The bad luck doesn't end there. Another owner bankrupted himself, and after he had purchased the island, J. Paul Getty's grandson was kidnapped. Finally, its last owner was imprisoned for bad business practices. Can this all be blamed on the island? Who knows, but it's no great surprise that no one's rushing to buy it. Number 1. Pitcairn Island. Even if you can't afford to buy your own Pacific island, the next best thing is to just live on one for free. And although it sounds too good to be true, such an offer does exist. Pitcairn Island is in the Pacific, and authorities are begging you to live there. It was settled by mutineers of HMS Bounty. Despite being only 2 square miles, land is plentiful, and the weather is always good, with a temperature remaining above 17 degrees Celsius all year round. The government even provides settlers with a free plot of land to build on. Yet no one wants to go there, and its population has now shrunk to less than 50. Perhaps one reason could be the 2004 child abuse scandal that became headline news around the world and led to 6 of its inhabitants being imprisoned. Perhaps another is that there are no jobs, only one general store, and food orders must be placed 3 months in advance, as supplies are dispatched from New Zealand, more than 3,000 miles away. It also costs 5,000 New Zealand dollars, which is around 3,383 US dollars, and 3 days each way to get yourself there in the first place. Apart from that, it could be the environmental problems currently suffered by the Pacific region. Either way, on the upside, it does have electricity and the internet. So would you buy any of these islands despite the drawbacks? Maybe you're not put off by the small print or their history. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.